on my glasses here. And I just want to say to my audience, I am dressed in one of my own garments. This is a godlili design, and it has dollar bills on it. I believe in the secret. And if you notice, I turned my hat around a different way because I designed these crowns. Is what we used to wear in the temple. And this is a godlili design. I'm trying to draw money to myself, like in the secret. And to everybody that think money is a evil thing, it's not. The Bible never told you money was evil. It only told you the love of money is the root of all evil. So if you love money so much that you'll kill, you'll steal, you'll starve people, what the leaders of this world is doing, not caring about people that's sick or health care, the people that's up in Congress, the House of Representatives, the senators that we put up there that don't care about you, that's evil. That is the love of money that will make you do harm to your sister and brother. Not love us. That is not God. That's not godly, and it's not God. So we're going to go into our lesson. And I thank you guys for joining here with me. I had to pull out my old Bible. It's kind of raggedy. If you can see, I read it. I put it pieces together because when I studied, I fall asleep. God would talk to me. I make notes. And this is how I learned. I first learned in Coptic how to read the Bible, but God took control. And that's what he'll do for you. He'll take control, and when you read, it won't look like Greek to you. You'll understand and be oh. But I've always talked to God ever since I was a kid. So I was one of the kids that came here that had an opening with God, or the keepers, or my watchers. I've always had somebody telling me what to do. I did talk to one person one time when I was hanging out with the Scientologist, and he was telling me, Lily, what if you was able before you came to this earth to create your own program, and right now you are running your program? How would you feel about that? That we was allowed to make our own programs. We were gods. Well, I know that. I'm Coptic, but I hadn't thought of it in that way. Except that when I thought of it, I'm thinking, yeah, I think he's right, because I don't think nobody else could have made a program better for me than I have. I've always had beings of light in my program. These are my beings, alien light beings that come and tell me and take me and fix me and all that, and that's in my world. I've always had voices that I thought was angels when I was young. Come to find out, they may not have been angels. Could have been my beings of light, my guiders, keepers, watchers. But they would always tell me things ever since I was a kid. So I don't know. I thought it was natural. But I've come to find out everybody don't have those things placed in their world, in their programs. So yeah, I had a great program. And if I did create it, I did a damn good job. I couldn't have done no better. That's all I could tell you. So anyway, I thank God for allowing us to create, because somebody created us. So anyway, we're going back to Corinthians, because that's where we left off. And we were talking about the first man, Adam. How did he become quickening soul after he partaken from the fruit? And that was because he became a god. And we went to Genesis, and we found that out in the 3rd chapter, 22nd verse. So now, the Spirit is taking me through this Bible today for some reason. I don't have a lesson prepared, because the one I had, it's like just disappeared. So we're going to go back to 1 Corinthians. And Corinthians is Corinthians. We're going to the 15th chapter of Corinthians. They was asking, how can you be born again? Do we get a new body and all that kind of stuff? This is what the disciples were asking. And okay, so we're going to go to the 15th chapter, and we're going to start around the 34th verse. You can always go back and read, and once you really catch on to the fact that God is in us, you won't have a problem reading this Bible. Okay, we're going 15th chapter of 1 Corinthians, And the 34th verse, awake to righteousness and sin not, for some have not the knowledge of God. I speak this to your shame. Even though people, you perceive them as being very religious, and because everybody is lifting them up, and they up in the churches speaking, and everybody is, you may want to be like that person. You may copy or emanate that person. But I tell you, the best person to emanate is Jesus. Awake to righteousness and sin not, for some have not the knowledge of God. I speak this to your shame. But some men will say, how are the dead raised up? And with what body do they come? Now I speak this to shame to you guys too, because for the simple reason we've been taught there is no reincarnation. The Bible don't tell you that. Man taught you that. Jesus was reincarnated. And that thou would, okay. How are the dead raised up, and with what body do they come? And I say to you, thou fool, that which thou sowest is not quickening, except it die. So in other words, anything that's on this earth cannot be reborn or come back again until it dies out. That's everything. The star, the grass, the flowers, the cattle, man, you name it. That's the cycle. That's your cycle. And that which thou sowest not that body that shall be, but bear grain. It's just like putting grain in the ground. Okay, you got a corn. That same corn stalk is not going to come back. But the seeds, you throw it in the ground, it's going to come back corn. If you got wheat, you throw it in the ground, it's going to come back wheat. Whatever you was in the very beginning, through the lives that you've been coming back and the choices that you have been making, determines whether you're wheat or corn or rye or whatever. And that which thou hast sowed, thou sowest not that body that shall be, but bear grain. It's just like bear grain. It may chance of wheat of some other grain. In other words, you could be wheat or some other grain. You still got to plant it. It still got to die. It still got to come back in another. It's the same kind, but not the same stalk. But God giveth it a body as it has pleased him, and to every seed his own body. So whatever that you was in the last life, he give you another body from that. From the very beginning, since we've been coming. Think about it. Why do some people come and they so blessed? Some people born in this world so cursed. It's the level of thinking that you left here on. I was Coptic, being taught heaven and hell is a state of mind. Before you leave here, you will know if you're in heaven or hell. Okay, 38, verse 38. But God giveth it a body as it has pleased him, to every seed his own body. God give you a body to please himself for what he know that you was from the last time. In other words, it's like a cycle. It's already been placed. It's already been placed in the program. Whatever life you lived that time, you got to come back on that level. You finish it. You got geniuses that can't finish their job. They come back, they start baby geniuses. That's how that works. You got murderers. They didn't learn nothing in the last life. They come back, guess what? Baby murderers. Yes. Whatever that you are from before, you are this time. If you've been molested, be careful, because you'll be molested again if you don't learn something. Yeah, one of my lives, yeah, I lost a life. I remember being, oh, that's another story. But anyway, that's how it works. Some people remember some of their life, some doesn't. Okay, now we're in 39. All flesh is not the same flesh, but there is one kind of flesh of man, another kind of beast, another fish, and another bird. So all the flesh is not the same. So where we've been taught that you was a bird and you gonna come back, you was a man and you come back as a bird, most likely you won't. Your Bible tells you all the flesh is not the same. If that you're not a bird in the beginning, you can't come back as a bird once you become a man. Now, prehistorical times, we don't know. Since God created the heaven and earth, and it took him 6 days to do it, and he said a day is 1,000 years to him, that could have been 6,000 years. So if we came down here, we had to be in one of the animals, since man wasn't here yet. You see. Oh, however long that took. All flesh is not the same flesh, but there is one kind of flesh of men, another of beasts, another of birds, another fish. That's how he was saying. There are also, get this, celestials. And everybody knows what a celestial is. An angel. Everybody know that. Oh, God's celestials. They're angels. Okay? And the bodies of terrestrials. Oh, but what is a terrestrial? Could that be extraterrestrials? That travels from planet to planet, to universe to universe? God created them. And the glory of celestial is one, and the glory of a terrestrial is another. See, oh my goodness, this is getting so deep. The glory of an angel is one, the glory of a being of light, which is a terrestrial, is another. There are glories of sun and there are glory of the moon. Both of those are light. The sun and the moon do different jobs. That's where terrestrials and celestials are. Excuse me. And another glory of the stars. Oh, stars. Whew, wow. Now here we are. We are stars. And the glory of the stars, for one star different from another star in glory. Even though we all are stars, the angels could be the sun, the terrestrials representing the moon, we're representing the stars. We're all light, just like God said he was light. But the light's different. Even though I'm a star, my friend may be a star, and that's what you call gods, of course. We are different. We're different from each other.
Well, I tried to wait. God, where can you be? Can't you see what's happening to me? You said you would not place me when I'm prepared.
Okay, now we're in. Let that sink in a minute. So also, it's the resurrection of the dead. It is sown in corruption. It is raised in incorruption. It is sown in dishonor, it is raised in glory. It is sown in weakness, it is raised in power. The example for that is Jesus. I rest my case. He had a natural body when he came. He was born in a mother, in a woman like us. Born in the same conditions. Born natural. He still had to be born again spiritual, into himself spiritually. Now when Jesus died, he gave us that spirit. So now we are in one with Jesus, one with God, and we're spiritual again. We are godly again. Okay. So also is the resurrection of the dead. It is sown in corruption, is raised in incorruption. It is sown in dishonor, is raised in glory. It is sown in weakness, is raised in power. It is sown in the natural body. It is raised in a spiritual body. There is a natural body and there is a spiritual body. We have a spiritual body. That's why they said that your natural body, you cannot serve God in that. But in your spiritual body, you can. That's when you get out of the body, you're no longer male or female. When you're as angels, like he said, when they asked him who gonna be married out of that woman that had the 7 brothers, and they said he said you gladly mistaken. When you're in the spirit, you have no sex. You're like God. You have both sex. It's back to Genesis. Well, man was a them, a male and a female. The one person was male and female, morphodite. God made that. I didn't. The first man, okay, it's sown in natural, it is raised in spiritual. There is a natural body and there is a spiritual body. And so it is written that the first man, Adam, was a living soul. The last man, Adam was a quickening spirit. Howbeit that was first, which is spirit. Howbeit, how come he's trying to say that what was first was not was spirit, which is spiritual, but that which is natural, and after that was which is spiritual. How could it be? That's what this Paul is asking you. How could it be that Adam should have been spiritual first before he had the sin, but he was natural and then became spiritual? Because his eyes came open and he became a god.